Sometimes life sends you a message, not through words, not through people, but through one small moment that changes everything. This is the story of a boy who couldn't read one letter, a letter that broke his heart, but also became the reason he learned to rise. This is the story of Aarav, and the letter that changed his life forever. Aarav lived in a small town. His father was a postman, a man who delivered letters filled with happiness, news, and love. Every evening, Aarav waited for him, watching that old brown bag filled with stories of other people's lives. But one day something different happened. A letter came, not for someone else, but for Aarav's father himself. It had stamps from London. Aarav's father smiled and said, "It's from my friend Ramesh. It's been years since we spoke." He opened it slowly. 2 pages, both written in English. He looked at them for a while, then folded them back quietly. Aarav noticed his father's smile had faded. That night, the letter lay on the wooden table, untouched. Aarav couldn't sleep. He walked to the table, picked up the letter, and tried to read. The first line said, "Dear friend," and then nothing. He couldn't understand a single word. That's when it hit him. His father couldn't read it either. The man who carried hundreds of letters every day couldn't read the one meant for him. Aarav's eyes filled with tears. He looked at his father sleeping peacefully and whispered to himself, "I will learn English, not for school but for him." The next morning, Aarav went to school with a fire inside him. He told his English teacher, "Ma'am, I want to learn English properly." She smiled and said, "Then start small, Aarav. One new word every day." And that's what he did. He started writing one new English word on a small paper each morning and carried it in his pocket. During lunch he repeated it. At night he wrote it down in a notebook titled, "My Words to the World." His friends laughed. "Why are you wasting time?" they said. But Aarav smiled, because he wasn't learning for marks. He was learning for meaning. Weeks passed. Aarav could read better, but speaking? That was hard. Whenever he tried, his voice shook. So he decided to face his biggest fear, himself. He stood in front of the mirror and said, "Good morning, Aarav. How are you today?" He laughed at first, but every day he came back. His words became smoother. His fear started melting away. He realized, confidence doesn't come from knowing English. It comes from using it. One day his teacher said something that changed everything. She said, "Don't study English like a subject. Live it like a habit." So, Aarav surrounded himself with English. Songs, books, podcasts, even his phone settings. Sometimes he made funny mistakes, but every mistake made him smile, because mistakes meant progress. Years passed. Aarav grew up, finished college, and his English became strong, clear, and confident. One morning, while cleaning the cupboard, his mother found something old, a folded piece of paper. She smiled and said, "Aarav, look, this is your father's old letter." He held it in his hands, the same letter that once defeated him. He opened it carefully and began to read. "Dear friend, it's been 20 years since we last met. I still remember our days at the post office, your honesty, your smile. I wanted to thank you for being the truest friend I ever had." Aarav's eyes filled with tears. He looked at his father sitting quietly in the chair and said, "Papa, he thanked you. He never forgot you." His father looked at him, eyes shining, and whispered, "Thank you, Beta, for giving voice to the words I couldn't read." That day, Aarav understood. English wasn't just a language. It was a bridge between people, between dreams, between hearts. He decided to share that bridge with others. A few years later, he became an English trainer. His first video? The letter that changed my life. In that video he said, Don't learn English to impress others. Learn it to express yourself, to understand the letters life sends your way. Maybe you, listening right now, feel afraid to speak English. Maybe you think you're not good enough. But remember, Aarav wasn't born fluent. He became fluent, one word at a time. Every new word you learn, every sentence you speak, is one step closer to your own transformation. Learn English not for the world to hear you, but for you to understand the world. Because sometimes, one letter, one promise, and one decision to try again can change everything.